It has been a crazy long week of apples, and more apples. And I'm already in my jammies because I'm exhausted. But I'm going to take you along on the ride so you can see what all we got done this week. Today in our apple processing, we're going to pick out the little apples. If you see these in comparison, these little apples. And we're gonna wash them. No, Roscoe, you cannot keep eating the apples. Roscoe's not gonna need dog food for breakfast. He's ate about 6 apples. And we're gonna wash them. And then we're gonna cook them in the roaster pan. Okay, so we sorted through these 2 tubs. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see how much lower they are, but up here we have a sink full of apples that we're gonna wash and get ready to put in the roaster pan. So everybody has their own way that they like to make their applesauce and apple butter. I prefer to put a little bit of water into the bottom of my roaster pan so that it just helps them not stick on the bottom, because I don't use any oil. And remember when I melted my laundry basket onto it? It's slowly coming off. Every time I use it, I can get a little bit more off. Oh. All right, so we're just gonna wash these and then cut them in half and toss them in the pan. Okay, apple sink is empty. Cutting board is wet, right? So here's my little trick. I just underneath this, makes it a little wobbly, I have a lid. Well, it fell, but so it sits like that. And when I put my cutting board on there and I'm cutting my apples, I push it like this, and all that water from my apple runs right back into my sink instead of all over me and the floor. So here we have our huge roaster pan full of cut up apples. And in the crock pot, we have lunch. And we're gonna be canning some bean and corn salsa in the Instapot that's approved for canning. It has a canning setting. So don't come back on me, because not all of them have that. So you can see here the roaster pan lid doesn't quite fit on tight, but that is okay. And yes, this looks dirty. It's not. This is just well loved. It's my mom, so it's probably 50 years old. Okay, maybe not that old, but anyways. So as my apples cook down, that little spot will start to go down as well, and we'll be good to go. These are some of Joe's apples from yesterday. We put some brown sugar on them. I'm draining out some of the water. And we're gonna make baked oatmeal for breakfast. Brown sugar, apple, baked oatmeal. So, oatmeal itself has some protein in it, but we like to add in a couple eggs. And when you get this all mixed up, you won't even know they're in there. And it helps bind it together a little bit better. Oh, and you know what? I forgot the cinnamon. Let me add some cinnamon. Okay, so I also decided to add some sugar in there. And there's liquid from the apples. And as the apples cook, they'll release more liquid. Sorry, my allergies are killing me this week. But it will all, the oatmeal will firm it all up. And some of my family eats it with peanut butter on top. Some eats it with just some milk. Some maple syrup. We all enjoy it in a different way. It doesn't look pretty, but it definitely tastes good. Step by step by step. It just takes a little here and a little there, and we'll make it work. So we're washing jars, and whew, hot. See all that yummy steam? I wish you guys could smell it. It smells so good. I love the smell of cooking apples. So apples are definitely getting cooked, so this is a plus. And then hopefully maybe another hour or so and they might be ready to go through the food mill. I think I have about a million projects going on today. So this is gonna be sweet corn relish. It kind of turns to the consistency of like a jelly, but not really, maybe like a jam. But it's really good on sandwiches and burgers and stuff like that. So it's got to simmer down to thicken up. And then over here, I had to get out of the fridge. I don't have any black beans to cook up, so we have just pinto beans and homemade salsa with corn in it. So we're making like black bean and corn salsa to pressure can. All right, so I did not have enough of the salsa part to make 4 jars. And this one has a little extra beans in it, but we're going to debubble it. This one we'll pressure can it because you have to pressure can it to kind of recook or finish cooking the beans. But then that one will probably just go in the fridge. But I still will pressure can it because it's not going to, I have to finish cooking the beans. And the corn's not cooked. This is more like a raw packed salsa. And if I remember, I will put the recipe in the description. I got it off of Pinterest, so I'll probably just plug in her blog about it. All right. So we're gonna wipe those rims and put the lids on, put it in the pressure canner. All right, so here's my Instapot pressure canner. And the step I always forget is to add just a splash of vinegar to my water since I have well water, and it is very iron, has lots of lime, not iron, lime. All right, so we have our 3 things of salsa, corned bean salsa. And then for my last jar, I just put my leftover pinto beans in it, and we're gonna can them up like that. I put some water in there. All right, put the lid on. All right, and then when I turn it on, oh wait, I gotta plug it in. So now I have it on. And it has a canning setting. And I need to can those for 45 minutes, but I do not want them to keep warm. Max pressure, no venting, no delay, and so I can start it. And it does all the work. So in amongst all my canning projects today, I have to get Anna's new black pants ready for WIMFA. So I'm gonna cut them, hem them, and then I have to put a little tuck on each side. All right, so for any of you that are sewers, I did turn the pants inside out like they're supposed to be. But normally you would sew, like, I'm sewing this backwards, right? Like you would sew with this so you know where your seam is. But I have looked and looked and looked and looked, and do you think I can find an empty bottom bobbin or one that's just got a little bit on it or a black one? Nope. So because I have top thread that's black, I like sewed it upside down. I don't know how else to explain that. But that way, at least the white thread is on the bottom and the black thread is on the top. So it'll work. All right, so we're back to the sweet corn relish, and you can see where the line used to be for the liquid and where it is now. So I'm gonna say we're gonna turn the heat up a little bit because it does have to come to a bit of a roaring boil for just a few seconds, and then you turn it off and we're gonna jar it up. All right, day 2 of making applesauce. It got super late, so I didn't show you making applesauce yesterday, but we got the food mill on the KitchenAid and a slow cooker full of cooked apples. All right, we made it to Wednesday. I scraped the applesauce out of the pan. This is batch number 3, I think. We're gonna make some apple butter. I am out of brown sugar, so we're making it in the applesauce. Pouring in some some molasses and some sugar. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this one-handed. Well, there you go. Some sugar. All right, and then we're gonna stir it up.
Oh boy! Read the room.
All right. So we're coming along on canning apple chunks and canning applesauce. This is going to be apple butter. We made some salsa today and some like chili starter. So it's my tomato soup recipe with some mild peppers in it.